All right, well, hey everybody, Grim Green back here today. Thank you so much for joining me today. We got some vapey stuff to talk about. The first thing we're going to be talking about, I know this is a long time coming. This is from Wismec. This is a mech mod. This is the RX Machina. I've been having a pretty good little time with it, apart from the fact that some of my batteries, some of my 2700 batteries don't fit in this 100%. And I also have a lot of thoughts about this guillotine atomizer, but don't worry, we're going to get into all of that. But first, in order to get to know this whole setup just a little bit better, what we're going to do is go up close, as we always do. Yeah, quick short up and closey time. Okay, look, before we go any further in this review, I don't know why my hat is like off to the side like that. I promise I didn't do it on purpose. I don't wear my hat like that. It's straight. I thought it was straight on my head. For some reason it looks cockeyed and I just look like kind of a douchebag, and I promise that my hats are generally straight. Yeah, RX Machina all together, looking good. It's got that honeycomb sleeve. It's a fully mechanical mod. It's got that matchy drip tip. Overall, I really like the way this looks. I think it looks cool, man. When you buy the X Machina, it does come with an rdta called the guillotine, which we're going to get into in 1 second after we tear down that mech. The X Machina is not a hybrid mech. It does have a 510 pin in there. This unscrews. And then on the inside of the top cap, there's your 510. And this is a spring-loaded, what looks like to be a peak insulator material, but that's spring-loaded. That's what your battery is traveling up against right there. The tube on the X Machina is designed to fit both 2700 batteries and 18650 batteries with an adapter. That's your little switch down there. And this very cool looking honeycomb pattern is printed on resin. This is a resin sleeve that pops over it. It hangs on there with an O-ring, which is a fantastic idea. And then you can take your button out if you want to. You can unscrew this and your button's just gonna come right out. And that's basically your whole switch assembly right there. Your battery just drops in here and then you press it in the mod and it goes up and hits that contact. Kind of like that iJoy 24 karat mod. This is a really simple, minimal assembly, and I really like the way they did it. Now, when I got this in the mail, this bottom part had an O-ring right here that holds on. It was, I don't know what it was for. It was just getting in the way. It was such a pain in the ass. I couldn't screw this switch down. I couldn't screw the switch housing down properly because there was this big dry O-ring here. When you have a dry O-ring and metal on metal, it made this insanely difficult to both take off and put back on. But I took that O-ring off and it's been stellar ever since. I have no idea why Wismec included it, and I kind of wish they hadn't. Because while that O-ring was on there, it really diminished my enjoyment of this mod. Taking it apart and reassembling it was kind of a bitch with that O-ring. I didn't see the point of it. It wasn't holding back juice. It's not for conductivity. It's not for a safety thing. So I just popped it off and it's been much better. Whole thing goes back together really easily. Your button goes in. Your button goes in like that. Bottom housing goes on like that. And I'll show you without the sleeve for right now, but you drop your battery in and then you screw on your top cap like this. And yeah, I guess you could rock it like this, but I wouldn't suggest it. I don't know. I don't like having that much of my battery exposed. It could be more prone, you know, like something could get in here and tear your battery wraps, and that's not good. You want to protect those battery wraps, so I wouldn't rock it like this. But there it is all together without the sleeve, just to kind of show you how easily it goes together. Let me get some printing here, and you can see when I press the button, yeah, the whole battery moves inside there, up, down, and that spring-loaded peak insulator spring-loaded thingy up here is what's pushing your battery back down, disengaging it from that contact. So now here's the biggest bummer in my opinion of this particular mod. I can't use my good 5-tab iJoy 2700 batteries in this mod. They do not work. At least in the X Machina mod that I have, I can only review what's in front of me. It's a real tight fit. When I screw this cap on, I'll show you what happens. So there you go. The iJoy fits in there, but remember that other battery, how it slid up and down and the spring would push the battery away from the contact so your mod stops firing? Well, when I have this iJoy battery in here, look what happens when I press the button. Let go, the battery has not moved. If I give it a quick unscrew, it drops back down, but let's try it again. I'm gonna push the button. Just watch the printing. Watch it not move backward. Up, not moving backward, and then if I unscrew this, yeah, then it drops back down. You want your battery going up to hit that contact. You don't want your battery staying up. If you attach an atomizer to it, it does pop it back down, but it takes a second and it makes a little weird clicky sound. Can you hear the clicky sound happening? It feels like it gets stuck and then releases too late. Careful not to burn myself with those coils. Ugh, I just don't like how poorly these good iJoy batteries fit in here. That really bums me out. I wish they had made the tolerance just a little bit better to accommodate these good batteries. You can use them and they'll probably work fine, but just be aware that it's a snug fit and there could be a chance that when you press the button, it doesn't disengage, it gets stuck up there. It's really, I don't know, it's loud. And with another battery in there, yeah, normal, just travels up and down fine. There's no weirdness, there's no sticking, there's no nothing. These batteries are easy to get in and out, and the iJoy batteries are a little bit difficult to get in and out because the dimensions. Now I'm just repeating myself. But yeah, with the sleeve on and the proper battery in there, it's nice and smooth. This thing is spring loaded, it's got a short little throw. This makes it a little bit wider than some mech mods, which some people might find uncomfortable. I have fairly normal sized hands, and I don't find it to be too big, but over time I do notice that it feels a lot bigger in the hand than some other mech mods. And here's the deck to the guillotine. It's just a two-post clamp style system. There's two little clamps that kind of come down when you screw these down and they'll capture your leads. I feel like you might have taken a few design cues there from Sub-Ohm Innovations. They have a very similarly styled deck with clamps as well that screw down. So yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. It's not an amazing deck, but it's pretty easy to build on. It's real easy to wick, and it holds your coils in place very well. And I realize my coils look a little out of whack here. One's real high and one's a little bit lower. We're gonna fix those, but you kind of have to build up a little bit higher on this just because of the way they did the AFC, which is honestly the biggest annoyance in this atomizer for me. This is the AFC ring that goes on the atomizer, and yeah, it's cool. It's oddly shaped though. You can pretty clearly see that this spot, this whole opening right here, is much bigger than this one over here, and I believe they did that to accommodate a single coil build in this, but it's not my favorite AFC I've ever used. So you can kind of see when you pop it in here, that's both sides full open, and you can start closing one down to, okay, well that's one over there, two over there. So let's close this one off completely. I think we're headed to single coil mode. So single coil mode consists of no open airflow holes over here and one over here. You can't have two open here and none over here. You're always gonna have like this weird third one. And it's just the way that they did the AFC. It's not super great. It's not really super versatile. But if you wanna do a full single coil mode, you're gonna have to have this side blocked off and this side down to one. That's your single coil mode. There's both open over there, and if you turn it like this, you'll get one. How did this happen? There's 1 and 1. I knew how to get it to 1 and 1. It's just weird. If you want 1 and 1, you kind of have to go past, and then that'll open one, because if you do just this one open like this, on the other side, it's going to be both open, so you kind of have to do this, and then now it's 1 and 1. I don't know. It's just a little bit weird. It's just a little bit fiddly, and it's weird having the AFC on the bottom as opposed to on the top or on the outside, and that's how I like to rock it. One hole on this side, one hole on this side, and then you would just line up your coils with your airflow and pop this down. So that is the Reuleaux RX Machina mech mod. What I'm going to do right now is wick this, juice this. We're going to get back out to normal view. We're going to vape this guy. So this X Machina mech mod isn't the hardest hitting mech mod that I've come across recently. It still hits fine, I just feel like it has a pretty big voltage drop on it. And that could be this battery that I'm using. Like I said in the uppy closey portion, I don't feel super comfortable using those iJoy 2700 batteries, which are the batteries that I really want to use. I feel like it's a little too much effort to get them in and out, and when it's in there, it doesn't slide the way it's supposed to. It clicks and kind of gets stuck sometimes, and I just don't feel comfortable using those batteries, even though they're the batteries that I would prefer to be using in this mod. The size of it's good. It's a reasonable size. It is a little bit wider diameter if you're not used to holding on to something big like this, and oh my god, I know, the jokes, okay? The jokes. Big girth holding tube, big, okay, we get it. Dick jokes. And that's not to say I'm above dick jokes. In fact, I'm expecting to see some down in the comments. That was really more of an encouragement than anything else. But yeah, it's big. It's rounder than your average mech mod. It's a little bit wider wider than your average mech mod. I think it's built really well. The machining on it is fairly nice. I do like the way this switch comes apart and goes together, although I have no idea why they put that O-ring in the bottom of this switch. It only ever got in my way, and the best thing I ever did was remove that O-ring. As far as this guillotine atomizer goes, the airflow is fine, the deck is fine, everything about this atomizer is really just fine. It didn't really impress me in any way. It's a rather good vape. With one hole open on either side, I get some nice smooth swooshy airflow, and I get some pretty decent flavor from it too. I have this loaded up with fairy wings right now. It's one of my favorite juices. I love the flavor and it tastes good. It tastes fine in here. As I always say, I generally hate those arbitrary like 1 to 10 scales of flavor, so I'll say this again, I am very satisfied with the flavor I get from this. It's not lacking in any way. Top's 810 compatible, and as you can see, the top and the drip tip and the drip tip and the body, it's all nice and matchy-matchy, and it's a very cool looking package. I got the yellow honeycomb one, which I really like a lot because I'm a big fan of yellow now for some reason, but they also have white honeycomb. They have a Doc Tippy Workstock MMK Knurly looking one, and then sort of like a swirly resiny color one as well. So there's a lot to choose from. Overall, I have had a really good experience with this particular setup. I have some gripes about the mech mod, and I have some gripes about that atomizer, like why did they do the AFC that way? I don't get it, and I don't like it. I'm a person that likes to bleh my juice, meaning I just like to squirt my juice right through my drip tip, and hopefully it gets all over the coils. That's one of my favorite things to do. This is very bleh friendly, although it takes a little bit of skill. You kind of have to move the bottle around a little bit. But if you're a vapor that likes to pop the top and look at your coils and paint your coils with juice, if that's your preferred way to drip, it's going to be weird with this guillotine RDA. If you grab it like this, your AFC kind of stays there and it exposes your coils and you can easily paint them with juice. And then when you put it back together, you kind of have to do the whole reline up your AFC type of thing. Cool. It's just one extra step. I realize that having to readjust your AFC isn't the biggest deal in the world. It's just a step that I don't enjoy. Now, if we're going to play the Aliens game or the FDA game where they come and take all of my vape gear and I have nothing left to vape, is the Wismec RX Machina something I would seek out and buy? Probably not, but if you're in the market for a single 2700 mech mod atomizer combo kit, I feel like you could do a lot worse than the Wismec RX Machina. It's a rad little setup, it vapes really well, and it has a few little quirks in it that aren't necessarily deal breakers, just something to be aware of. And best of all, across the internet, I found it between $40 and $50 for the kit total, so no real serious vape budget hands needed, which is always kind of a cool thing. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. That's what I got. It's the Wismec RX Machina Mech Mod Guillotine. Guillotine? Is that how you say it? I hear people say guillotine, and I hear other people say guillotine. In fact, I used to say guillotine when I was a kid, but I think guillotine is the proper pronunciation. Although there is a high probability of me being completely wrong about that. Anyway, enough rambling. I'll have all the links down in the description. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and as always, yeah, let's keep on vaping. Elbows up.